The fear of failure is something that keeps you stuck in avoiding taking action. So how you overcome the fear of failure is critical to your success. And overcoming this fear is simpler than you think. Check this out. Hey, welcome to The Power of Quiet, where we show you how to find a power that's inside of you. A really big power. A power to have happiness, abundance, and real peace of mind. And coming from this power, you can create great things in the world. Now, if you're new to the channel, I highly recommend subscribing and following along, because every video here, we don't just talk about it, because talk is cheap. What we do here is we actually show you how to experience this power and use it to create great things, where you can actually demonstrate it and prove it for yourself. So if that's something that's of interest to you, then make sure you're subscribed. Now, today we're going to take a look at what stops us from really embracing our goals and embracing opportunities to create great things. See, we all have goals. We all have big dreams. But oftentimes, we end up procrastinating, right? We push those goals off, or we have like an opportunity that comes up that interests us, and then we hesitate taking action. Why? Well, most of the time it's fear-based, isn't it? It's like a hesitation. I'm not sure if I should do it. Yeah. I should calculate it, figure it out, plan it out, to make sure I do it perfectly, to make sure I don't make any mistakes, to make sure I don't fail. And that's really what's behind all of our procrastination and hesitation. It's a fear of failure, which is absolutely ridiculous to let a fear of failure stop us from moving forward on our goal. After all, the great master, Lester Levinson, pointed out that taking action, even if it's the wrong action, even if it's action that ends up in failure, it's better than taking no action at all. Because if you take no action at all, you're just sitting there stuck with your fear in the first place. Whereas if you take action, at least you get into courageousness, you move. And if it ends up not working out, well, you get to learn something. You get to experience what didn't work, and that'll help you guide yourself towards having it work. So any action that you take is incredibly productive, at least on an energetic level, to get courageous, to move forward. And what I'm going to do here is show you how to get bigger than this fear. Get it completely erased, out of the way, so you can move forward clearly, confidently. Just take action. And you'll feel good about your action and feel good about your goals, so you don't feel like you have to procrastinate on them. You're actually enjoying moving forward and enjoying the process of creating great things in your life. So let's take a look at where this fear is really coming from. It's all coming from your mind. And I want to point out something about the way the mind works. When you're in your mind versus when you're just moving forward, when you're taking action. You see, when you're taking action, you're in the moment. You're just doing it. You just do it. You just jump into it with both feet. It's like the old Nike slogan, just do it. You don't think about it. You don't sit there try to figure it out. You just take action. You get right into the experience. And even if you don't have all the answers, the experience very quickly gives you the answers you need. But compare that with your state when you're procrastinating, when you're hesitating. You see, you're not in the moment. You're in your mind. And when you're worried about it, like you're worried about the failure, well, what if I don't do it right? What if I make a mistake? What if I look like a fool? What if I lose out? What if I put myself in a worse position than I am now? Then you're projecting off into the future. And your mind, it can never predict the future. It might have a lot of data. It might have a lot of certainty about what the future might bring, but it really doesn't know. There's many ways that things can unfold that your mind can never predict. Right? The future is really an unknown. So you're just guessing. You're projecting out. And when you're in the future, you're not in the now. And when it comes to this fear of failure, not only are you looking into the future, in this fantasy of what might happen, that fantasy off in the future is based on garbage from the past. You see, your mind, when you're in your mind, it's bringing up all your past failures, all your regrets, things that didn't go your way. And when you're looking at, okay, what if I take this action now? Your mind serves up a bunch of this junk from the past saying, oh, well, it might end up like this, or this might happen, or you might make this mistake, or you might look stupid again. So you see, your mind also has you in the past. And this is what your mind gives you. It's either in the future or the past. And when it's in the future, it's all based on the past. And that has nothing to do with the now. When you're completely in the now, you're really clear and you can take action. And when you're in the now, instead of being in your mind, you can operate off of intuition, which is much more powerful and much more positive than your thinking mind. When you're intuitive, you really do great things. And this intuition that you have is something that you could harness and leverage for your benefit. And I'll show you how to get in touch with this. So you could really feel good about yourself, you could feel confident, and take better action. So think about a goal that you have, or think about an opportunity that you've been hesitating on. You've been wanting to do, but not doing it. Have something in mind? And see if you have a fear of taking action and effing it up. See if you have a fear about it. Now get in touch with that fear. Notice that's a feeling that you're experiencing right now, even though you're not taking any action, even though you haven't effed anything up yet. You got that fear right now. Now I can show you how to remove this fear. It's very, very easy. First, measure it. Measure that fear on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being the most fearful, 0 being the least fearful. Just see where you're at. Now you might be at a 2, might be just be a little bit of fear. It might be at a 5, it might be at a 10. But notice this, whenever that fear comes up, whenever you experience fear, how do you react to that fear? How do you treat it? You don't like it, do you? You're like, oh my God, fear. I don't want you here. So basically, you're saying no to that fear. You see that? Now let me ask you this. When you say no to the fear, does that make the fear go away? No. You just keep holding on to it. In fact, saying no to that fear, it makes it worse, doesn't it? So let's do something different. First of all, would you be willing to do something different? We're going to do something radically different. Look at that fear right now, wherever you measured it at. A 2, a 5, or a 10. Now, instead of saying no to that fear, just look at it and say yes to it. You see, saying no doesn't work. It doesn't make the fear go away. Let's do the opposite. Just say yes to that fear. Just nice and simple. Y-E-S. Look at that fear and say yes to it. And say yes to that fear a little bit more. And say yes to that fear a little bit more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. And say yes to that fear even more. And even more. And say yes to that fear a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. All right, now measure yourself again. Notice the difference. See if you moved. See if you went from a 10 to an 8 or a 10 to a 1. Did you move? And notice how simple that was. All you had to do is just look right at the fear and say yes to it. How easy is that? And see, now, what you're doing is you're actually letting go of the fear. Rather than avoiding it, rather than kind of pushing it away, but it doesn't go anywhere when you do that. But by saying yes to it, it's actually going away. And now that you have it moving through, you're letting it go. Get in touch with the rest of that fear. You see, you've been pushing it down the whole time. Or trying to avoid it. Not think about it. Distracting yourself from it. Which doesn't really work. So let go of pushing down on the rest of that fear. Just let it come up. You see, it's just a feeling. That's all. Just a feeling like it's hot or it's cold. And usually you don't say no to hot or cold. You just let it be there, right? So let the fear be here. Let it come up. Welcome it up. And just let it pass through. Let go of holding down the fear. Just allow it to arise. Let it be here. And just notice it leaves. It's been wanting to leave all this time. So welcome up the fear some more. And just let it leave. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And notice how that feels. Don't you feel more positive, more confident, more clear, and more present? And this is how simple it is, just to get the fear out of the way. And then it's easy to take action. Think about it. You let your intuition guide you. And that'll enable you to move quickly and effectively to achieve any goal that you want. Now, like I said, the fear is just a feeling, but backing up this feeling is a bunch of stories about past failures, right? All those regrets that you have, that you're still carrying around with you. Those regrets and those past memories are clouding your vision about what you could do now. You see that? You're looking at an opportunity now, and your mind is like a filter with a bunch of negative garbage It basically tells you, no, I can't do it. It's not going to work. I'm not good enough. And where's that information coming from? Your mind. And how do you know it's true? It's only your mind telling you. Why do you want to listen to your mind? Why do you want to let that thing demoralize you, keep you in fear, and keep you from taking action? And then years go by, you look at the goals that you once had, and then you're like, oh, I never did anything. And then you have more regrets, more fear. You see, it just builds up. But you can go in a different direction. You can reverse all of that. Take out those regrets. Take out those stories, because how do they help you? So what happened in the past? Now take a look at a past failure or a story from the past that says, I can't. I'm no good. I'm just going to fail. Now when you think about that, notice you probably have feelings about it. And just like it's incredibly easy to let go of the fear, it's really easy to let go of these feelings and watch that whole story dissolve and just not even be true to you anymore. Now the story, it's up here in the mind. And the mind is just a recording and playback machine. See, it has all those stories recorded from the past and it's playing them back to you now. But up here in the mind, it doesn't erase any of this stuff. Where you can erase it is in your feeling center here, your stomach or chest. I'll show this to you. Check this out. When you think about a past failure or the story that you've been dragging around with you throughout your past, it says, I can't, I'm not good enough. I always make mistakes. Just close your eyes, put your head down towards your stomach or chest, and see if you have a tightness. You know, kind of a clenching feeling in your stomach or chest. You feel that? Now, wherever you feel that, just right in front of that energy, open up an imaginary window or door. Just right in front of that energy. And imagine that energy just going right on out the door. Just open up. Let the energy pass through that door. It's just energy passing through. It's not good. It's not bad. Just energy. Open up and let it pass through even more. And you can just imagine that energy going out the door, whatever it looks like to you. You could view it as smoke or rays of light or like, inky black liquid, going out, whatever. But just to watch that energy going out the door. And watch it leave even more. And 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 how's that feel? Just notice if you feel a little bit lighter. You notice that? And that's showing you that you can just let this negativity go. This feeling that you've been avoiding and dreading. But while you've been avoiding and dreading it, you've actually been keeping it. But now, you see, you just let it go. Now, take a look at that story, that failure, and see if it's as true as it was a few moments ago. See if it's more possible to get bigger than it was a few moments ago. You notice the difference? You see, when you just let that energy go, that noise in your mind telling you about that awful thing from the past and how it's going to happen again, It just disappears. You don't have to play Dr. Phil with yourself. You don't have to figure it out. Just let the energy go. And that puts you in the present moment, where there is no past, there's no future. There's just you and your goal right now. And that's where you achieve your goals. Now. That's where you take action. Now. It's that simple. And by the way, when you feel nice and light, that's a pretty great place to be in the now, regardless of what happens. It's a heck of a lot better being in the now with fear and stuck in your mind. And you see, it's your choice. You're the boss over all of this stuff. Don't let your feelings boss you around. Don't let those old stories boss you around. You're the boss. And you just proved it. So play with this. Practice this. Notice everything that gets you to procrastinate, everything that gets you to stop and not take action out of fear. It's basically a fear of failure. And this is what my friend Danny Attridge had pointed out, that enabled him to take his trading. He's a professional trader. He works for himself and is incredibly successful doing what he's doing. And he saw that a lot of things that were stopping him from making trades, making good decisions, was fear of failure. If I invest money right here, I might lose. And it was all from stories in the past. When you just clean all that stuff up, it made him a very effective trader, actually quadrupled his money, his income. And you could hear him talk all about it. It's actually really fascinating and very inspiring. I'll put a link to the discussion. We did a live stream talking about how to be in the flow and really see all the opportunities. Even when opportunities don't seem to be there, there's always opportunities. So check it out. It's very inspiring. And most importantly, don't let your mind pull you back into its traps of future and past. Keep releasing, keep practicing what we're doing here, and you'll find yourself being able to stay present and move forwards with confidence and clarity. So keep it up, and I'll see you on the next video.